silent heartbeat. Sarah was overjoyed when she learned she was expecting her first child. She'd always dreamed of becoming a mother, and everything seemed perfect. As the months went by, however, she began experiencing strange symptoms: sudden chills, an odd ringing in her ears, and the feeling of someone watching her at night. But Sarah brushed it off as the stress of pregnancy. Her Dr. Whitman was highly recommended and seemed kind enough. Yet there was something unsettling about his smile. It never quite reached his eyes. During each appointment, he would press the stethoscope against her belly, listening intently with a strange, almost feverish focus. And each time, his face would shift into a satisfied, eerie grin. At her 6-month appointment, Sarah brought up her concerns about the chills and the ringing in her ears. But Dr. Whitman only brushed them off, assuring her it was just part of the process. Still, she couldn't shake the feeling that something wasn't right. One night, Sarah awoke to intense pain, like needles were pressing against her from the inside. As she struggled to sit up, she noticed something chilling: a shadowy figure standing at the foot of her bed. It looked like Dr. Whitman, but different. His face was pale, eyes hollow, and his mouth stretched into a sinister grin. Panicking, Sarah screamed, but the figure vanished as her husband rushed in, finding her trembling and drenched in cold sweat. She dismissed it as a nightmare, though deep down she felt it was something far more sinister. Her next appointment was the most disturbing yet. As Dr. Whitman moved the ultrasound wand over her belly, his face darkened. The heartbeat. "It's different," he muttered, his voice low and cold. "What do you mean?" Sarah asked, her heart pounding. But he only stared at her belly, whispering, "It's stronger. She's almost ready." Sarah left the appointment shaken, determined to find another doctor. But when she called other clinics, every doctor's office mysteriously turned her away, saying her case was already being handled. That night, the pains worsened. Sarah felt something moving beneath her skin, as though her baby was fighting to break free. She grabbed her husband, pleading to take her to the hospital, but he froze, staring at her belly with wide, terrified eyes. In the reflection of the bedroom mirror, Sarah saw it, a ghostly pair of hands pressing from inside her skin, as though the baby was clawing her way out. She screamed, feeling the sensation of icy fingers brushing her insides. Her husband, paralyzed by fear, couldn't move. The last thing Sarah remembered was collapsing as the room spun and everything went dark. She awoke in the hospital, disoriented and weak. Dr. Whitman was standing beside her bed, his cold eyes staring down at her. "You did well, Sarah," he said in that same disturbing tone. "The baby is perfect." Sarah looked around, desperately searching for her husband. "Where's my baby? And where is my husband?" But Dr. Whitman only smiled, gesturing to a nearby bassinet. Inside was her newborn, pale and still, eyes wide open, yet unnaturally silent. Her heart sank as she realized something was terribly wrong. Dr. Whitman leaned in close, whispering, "Your husband was a necessary sacrifice for this child's birth. She's special, Sarah. She's beyond life and death." The realization hit her like a wave of ice. Her baby wasn't just a child. She was a vessel, bound to something from the other side. And Dr. Whitman, he was not just a doctor. He was her summoner. Frozen in terror, Sarah watched as her baby opened her eyes, revealing hollow, endless darkness. And in that darkness, Sarah saw her husband's terrified face staring back.